in your first playoff series, but you might have to. Very similar to when we saw the Reckless Seraphine in the bot lane in the first round of the EU playoffs. They definitely didn't want to show that against Schalke, but sometimes you go to Game 5 and sometimes you have to actually show those strategies. We'll see if that does end up coming through here or if it's just going to be a standard game. We do see the same bans once again on the Sylas here, the Senna, and the Lucian that we saw last game.
First pick
first
for
pick,
Chovy.
so, I mean,
Are we picking for Chovy here? And yes, we are. It's Orianna in his final game of the best of 5.
and it's not a champion that, you know, outside of Shockwaves, you really have a lot of carry potential per se. I mean, you have a few abilities you toss out, you do some burst damage, and that's it. This is not a champion that empowers Chovy's playstyle, which is, you know, something I mentioned earlier. I almost Chekhov's gunned the Orianna into the series by saying, you know, he can play so many champions, but he can also just play Orianna, and he does do it here. But it is not how they've been playing this entire series. And Life Esports are going to show he has played the Kai'Sa now several games, and the 2 games he played on it, he did not look solid, and he just wasn't doing damage, right? And I feel like with this composition that has really strong frontline, again, the Leona's going to make it easier. I do appreciate the Leona pick, but I'm not sold on this Kai'Sa pick yet again. Almost would have rather seen a Jinx, you know, pairing down there. You know, maybe like Jinx Tom Kench or something like that. But Alistar Ezreal is the response, and Valdez, I feel like with all the variants that this draft has added, it doesn't allow Chovy to carry per se. It doesn't allow, I mean, your art is so much slower than anything they've played all night. You know, especially when you think about games 1 and 3.
Oh, Rich oversteps here, and guess what? You're going to be pulled back. No flash available, no dash. First blood given over to Arthur, the guy who subbed in game number 5.
It's a bit concerning.
And they're just waiting.
Yeah.
Still no flash available. The World Ender does come in, but you're getting scooped again. He's looking for the dash over the wall. We'll see if the damage. Yeah, with Chovy here, absolutely. He's not able to get an assist, actually, which kind of sucks, but that is okay. Sleep comes in down on the bottom side, and they're looking for the kill onto Deft, and you know what? They will be able to pick it up here. Kellen not even level 6, and still is able to tank that very nicely.
Very well played here. You hit 6, you have to sleep. I mean, that's what you're going to. It's like literally about to say the same thing. I'm like, and this is the most interesting thing that's happening. Hey, Rift Herald actually gets taken. They're actually just quietly going to steal this one away. I think if Nongshim knew this was happening, they probably would have postured around it, but we had a free dragon for Peanut. Now we're getting a free Herald for Arthur. No fighting allowed in this game.
Yeah, just the top lane is being pushed in. You know, Rich down a level. Chovy, same thing in the mid lane. So you don't really have the prio, and they had no vision in the top river. So even if they thought they were going for it, it's not much that Nongshim really could do.
Ooh, that's nice with the no minions there. They toss it down right away.
He can knock it back. He can deny this.
They're
and
actually going to deny it, I think.
They might be able to get Morgan too. Red buff on Peanut. That is so much burn damage, and down he goes. And he even flashes as he's dying.
This is very unusual. Rich over here eating some serious chip damage.
That's pretty rough to deal with that Gnar, as now we're going to have this land. No ultimate available for Peanut, as Vista is looking to turn it around. Duckdom not hitting much, but Vista is going to die. And they just didn't have the follow-up damage because Kellen was in Unbreakable Will. Easily able to just pick up the support for free, essentially.
And this is going to be
Vista. You flash away yourself, but no ultimate now on Chovy for the fight. As Peanut is going to get slowed up, and Deft actually has a really good angle. He's able to get into that back line as the sleep is coming in, and now Deft might be challenged here by Rich, who's doing a great job, but you see on the top side that Nongshim are not winning. Arthur is desperately trying to kill the little Bambi, and he will eventually, and the rest of Nongshim is just getting killed up in the river.
Yeah, and you know, Valdez, this is, I mean, it feels like this is the team fight that essentially hits my point the hardest. That when I was talking about the differences in team fights at this stage of the game for Peanut versus Arthur, like, his impact was so low compared to Arthur just zooming through the entirety of Nongshim and preventing them from doing damage. Sure, the top side of the fight went decently, but you just see the difference in what these two junglers are able to do in this early skirmish. I mean, I say early, we're 21 minutes of the game, but this mid-game skirmish, where unfortunately Peanut just doesn't have all of his items online. And this all started out with a very early flash force, right? Like, Chovy is able to start that up, and then things go very wrong from there. So able to force Peanut to flash, so he's already low impact in terms of what he can set up here in this. Gets solar flared, and then Hecarim gets a whole chase onto him. And all Peanut really gets to do in this fight is Q once and set up a sleep. But the top part of the fight is already, you know, kind of set in stone. And Peanut just like running. But Arthur's going to get him in the end.
Yeah.
And he gets away as well. Because he's Hecarim, that's how it goes.
Yeah, I want to see the top side of the play as well. Kellen just dies really early and Bay's all alone, so.
Like, he gets Chovy, but I mean, that's all he's going to get. So this ends up being really nice. Freak will actually reset.
Oh, they're actually going on to Duckdom here, who is going to cleanse and actually goes straight into the enemy and just dies. So no AD carry for Nongshim, and no team fight either. Peanut is emoting on the bottom side of the fight, doing nothing. Triple kill goes to Chovy, and Hanwha Light to sweep him up in the river as Deft nearly dies, but Chovy is there to save him.
And that was a huge play from Vista. I mean, his positioning was perfect from the get-go. I was talking about how it's really difficult for Nongshim to actually go through that choke while he's there. Like, you can't really collapse in and try to take a hard engage if you're Nongshim, so you're stuck between a Drake and a hard place, right? Because you either, they're even going to try to double this up. And I think they can. I think they're going to get away with it. I mean, we are 27 minutes into the game. It's been a fairly low action game throughout a lot of it. But, I mean, if you're, no way.
Right? No way, right? Okay, yeah.
That was
5,000 health left. Not actually was leaving me. Peanut here, he's getting dove on now once again, and there's not much that he can do. He does have the stopwatch, but it's not enough time to buy. They're too far behind, and now Duckdom's gonna get caught again. Vista is just owning him in this game. And Rich is desperate, but he's barely even tickling Morgan at this point.
Feels like a lot of people who had, high predictions on this series. But the composition is the most stable one we've seen for them all day.
Peanut just showed himself. I mean, like,
yeah,
things are not looking clean here on the side of Nongshim. Here comes Vista over the wall. He is getting pretty deep on in there, actually. He's just going to die. Hanwha Light, you got to be careful, guys. I mean, you're super far ahead, but you don't want to just be throwing your lives away as the shockwave is now. And they're desperately trying to stop the Infernal Soul, but they cannot. There's no way, no how. They're just way too far behind. You see even Bay is looking to get in there. They're getting desperate. Rich is taking way too much damage from the Orianna. And even on the top side, Hanwha Light are just playing with their food. Deft is going in against 3 of them. He is going to go down, but also will the rest of Nongshim.
Yeah, Peanut is just trying to survive here any way he can. Arthur's teasing him. There's the final kill.
That's going to do it. Hanwha Light, they are going to win this series. They pick up an ace at 33 minutes. And they finally show what we were expecting from a lot of these games here. It took 5 games, but they finally made it happen as Peanut has got his head in his hands. Understandably very disappointed. They got so close, but Hanwha Light was the better team at the end of the day, and they will be moving on to the round 2 of the playoffs.
I think the happiest person in the room has got to be Arthur, someone that we've been calling for and asking for a long time in the LCK. Johan has improved a lot since he first joined the squad, but it took a very long time for this guy to come online, and now Arthur actually gets his chance in Game 5 of the playoffs that no one predicted we'd be in. The Hanwha Light coaching staff probably didn't predict it, weren't even considering it. He comes in, plays the game of his life, and everybody's hugging him right now because he absolutely jungle gapped that game against the Nidalee, or not the Nidalee rather, that we saw from Peanut this time, the Lilia, and he ends up winning this team the playoff spot. And Hanwha Light, this was a lot tougher than I think it should have been and necessarily needed to be. But you can imagine Peanut's frustration. He's very upset. This is a player who just came back from Worlds on a Chinese team, returned to the LCK, came back to Korea. He's the last Rox Tiger. He's the last one left. And he is not going